Well, hello there, Bailey. It's so nice to see you, and welcome everyone that's here on our uh, workshop podcast here today. I am so excited that we have an amazing speaker. And as you all know, this is three in our four-part series of our spring workshop to bring true stories of people that either have a business like Chip Osborne has the business where he does landscaping with natural products to try to reduce the incidence of pesticide impact on our bodies. So that's all natural products. And then our other three speakers have amazing stories of overcoming a health life challenge and healing themselves through nutrition or, other methods. So today, one of my favorite speakers is here, Bailey O'Brien. You are going to love her story, and I think it's going to give you a lot of inspiration and hope. I've worked for over 41 years in acute care with many cancer patients, and Bailey's story is one of the most beautiful stories I have ever heard. And that's why I am so proud of her. And I'm so happy to share her message today because she's got a very powerful message for all of us. And I want to start by, first of all, thanking you for sharing your story. And also to let people know that she now has her own business where she tries to prevent cancer in other people. So she does a lot of coaching. At the end, we're going to have her website and her contact information and her phone if you am trying to get in touch with her so that you are in need of coaching to help yourself or other members of your family to prevent cancer, because she's got a passion for this. She's really good at it, as you will see shortly. And so with that said, Bailey, welcome. And I would love you to start by sharing your story, and maybe taking us back to your time growing up, or maybe when you were in your freshman year in college.
Thank you, Orly. Thank you for all your kind words and gracious words. It's 100% the grace of God that I'm alive and here and sharing my story, that I have a story to share. I'm very empty and weak, just on my own, desperately need God's help. So beginning of my story, it really starts when I was 4 years old. And I was getting ready to go to preschool, and I did not want to go. I didn't want anything to do with life outside of, the comfort of home and hanging out with my mom and, my little brother. My dad was at work, my sister's at school. Anyway, I was just so fearful, fearful of life, fearful of everything. And it came to, disaster state the first semester of college, when I moved away and I was away from my support system, and I didn't have any support in place. I mean, I did, besides my team, I was on the swim and dive team there, and I had lots of people around me, but I felt very out of place. I was in over my head, socially, academically, and athletically, and I didn't know how to cope with it. I also, I was in a swimming pool like 7 days a week or 6 days. So I had a lot of exposure to chlorine on top of the stress. And then the way that I handled my stress was through mostly binge eating and not really healthy foods. I had some idea of healthy nutrition. I was interested in it and eventually studied it in college, but I I could eat French fries all day and, whatever the dining hall had, I had an unlimited meal plan. So I ended up, my mom thought I was going to make myself sick with my stress. So she actually prayed and said, God, would you kind of shake Bailey up and let her know she's gonna, put things into perspective for her and let her know she's okay. And then shortly after that, I ended up with melanoma, skin cancer, and I ended up moving home, taking a medical leave of absence for a semester. I had surgery. I had interferon treatments, which are an old form of immunotherapy, and then I returned to school. My oncologist thought I was going to be fine because I was young, I was athletic, fit, healthy. But it did come back about 2 years later after a very stressful event. My boyfriend and I broke up, and I remember telling my parents that it felt worse than having cancer. So it was just emotionally very, very difficult. So with the recurrence, I had more surgery. It was a tumor that appeared back under my jaw areas in the similar place to where it originated, on my right temple, and it had spread to a lymph node in front of my ear the first time. So it was a tumor which I had removed. It took 2 surgeries because the first time it was, I guess, hard to find, so they missed it. And then after the second surgery, I had 1 month of radiation treatments. And the chance that it could recur by then was greater than 50%. I remember reading a record from my doctor's notes saying that there was an 80% chance that it would come back and would be life-threatening, most likely. So my mom started looking into alternative or integrative methods for dealing with cancer. So I started seeing an integrative oncologist who helped me with she gave recommendations on my diet and supplements. And, I don't know, it's a different train of thought than what I have now. The things that she was recommending, like she recommended a lot of animal protein in my diet, which I changed later. But she gave me supplements that could help prevent cancer from recurring and or encapsulate the cancer if and when it did recur, so that it could be easily removed, for example. So I finished radiation, went to Hawaii with my teammates for a training trip. I was grateful to be done with cancer. At least, I thought I was have about 3 to 5 years before it would recur. And it was while I was in Hawaii, 2 weeks after finishing radiation, when I felt a lump under my chin. And when I got back from that trip, I had it biopsied by a doctor in New York that I had started seeing. And she told us that it was positive for melanoma. So it was, she ordered a CT scan, which I had that night. And then it turned out that there were up to 7 lesions or tumors in my body, in my neck, lung, and spine. And so that, 3 to 5 year time frame that I was told I would have before it recurred shrunk down to 2 weeks. And I was very discouraged. I'd lost part of my ear. I lost hair. I lost function of the nerve in my face, a major nerve in my face. It was temporary, but it was just very, I felt like Frankenstein. It was hard emotionally being separated from my friends for so long and watching them enjoy their senior year of college, which I was supposed, that's what I thought I was going to have.
Yeah.
By that time I was thriving. I was doing better, socially, academically, and athletically. So that was very
you can take a deep breath, Bailey. It's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bailey is an amazing soul, and I know this is very emotional for you, and that's okay. That's if I had a tissue that I could reach screen through Zoom to give you. I'd be giving you a
Thank
tissue
you.
right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, so, and then, of course, the worst part of that was just that um, I was given just like no hope. Um, one doctor told my mom, they didn't even tell me this at that point. I was 20 years old. Um, she said I had 7 months to live without treatment or 14 months to live with treatment. I saw another oncologist at the Cancer Treatment Center of America in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we were seeking another opinion, who said 2 years if I did surgery and radiation and chemotherapy. And like maybe the day that I saw that doctor, or maybe the next day, sorry, my sister got engaged and I wanted to be around for her wedding, but I didn't want to be like, I just had this picture of myself being in a wheelchair and
Mhm.
being sickly and gray and just such a downer at, what was supposed to be an amazingly beautiful, wonderful celebration for my sister and her fiance. So, I mean, thank God my mom had a friend who had been researching alternative medicine, and she believed I would get better, and we just had to find what would work for me. So she and my mom were
I love
researching.
that thinking. I love
Yeah,
that thinking, and I'm sure that gave you a little bit more encouragement too, right? Just
yeah,
to know that somebody
yeah,
believed in you and believed that
yeah,
things could be different.
yeah. Um, Sorry, just like even experiencing a new like increasing faith in that right now, like for other people,
Yeah.
as we speak. um, that just how much healing is possible. So yeah, that, I mean, my mom had told me the news that it was stage 4, like incurable cancer, but then in like after I like had like a minute to process that, she said, but there are things that we haven't looked into yet that um people have used to heal or something like that.
Mhm.
So I had hope, like pretty, very early on. It was depressing for sure. I had to take another medical leave of absence. Um but the research led us to a couple of things that were available for treatment in Mexico.
Mhm.
Um, One is a radical diet and detox and some supplements regimen that um, a German doctor had, he had emigrated from Germany to New York and was practicing and helping people heal from cancer with his diet and, and protocol. It had a 60% 5-year survival rate in, no, yes, no, hang on, sorry, 39% 5-year survival rate in the stage of melanoma that I had. And it was nutrition, and I was studying it. I had already believed that food could help, proper nutrition could help a person heal from diabetes, but I'd never considered that it could be possible to help heal cancer.
Mhm.
So that was a new but encouraging thought. And then there's another treatment called Coley's toxins, which is a mixed bacterial vaccine
Mhm.
um, that had a 60% 5-year survival rate in inoperable melanoma.
Wow.
And so,
And was
um,
there somebody in like Utah or a doctor in Utah or Colorado that was doing research on a pill to help some sort of a viral or immune therapy pill?
um, I know there are lots more in immune
Or maybe
therapy.
I'm not remembering your story correctly, but I thought that
Oh,
one time there was a doctor that you went to in Utah or Colorado that had a pill that there was an
oh,
experimental research pill.
Well, there were two things. I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma to, there was actually, we didn't even go there primarily to see the Cancer Treatment Center of America. There was a doctor who had some kind of machine that my mom thought sounded, legitimate,
Yeah.
that she thought would be good to check out. But when we got there, we first arrived at CTCA and there was a gigantic snowstorm, 14, for them, giant record-breaking snow was 14 inches, and they had like 3 snow plows. And
In the whole town, right?
people didn't even own shovels. So like literally the dietitian I met with, he said I had to go out and buy a shovel, and I was, so I wasn't able to go see that doctor. But pill wise, I did do 5 pills of Temodar, which is a chemotherapy drug medication, which I guess has been used for melanoma and brain cancer. So I did that after a couple of weeks of researching, because I didn't want to just let the cancer go untreated. Yeah. Oops. So I ended up deciding to go to Mexico. I went there maybe 3.5 weeks after the scan showed all the cancer in my body. And I was there for 3 weeks. I had some shrinkage before I got there, measurable shrinkage, which I thought, I was like, well, I don't know if I can trust these numbers. Like, it was measured, I think, 1/2 centimeter smaller each time between the measurements, but it was measured by different people, 3 different people. So I thought it could be, human error maybe. So I just decided to keep going as aggressively as possible with what made the most sense. And I'd asked for somebody asked me how he could pray for me, my diving coach from high school, Ron. And I said, pray that I make the right decision, because I didn't know what to do. And, Mexico is like, I'd never heard of going to Mexico for cancer treatment before. And it was just all scary. So I started praying also, positive belief, like you were saying, somebody believing that you can get well. Another, person who was a huge encouragement to me at that time was a speaker who came to my school and spoke to the athletes when I was there, like the day after I was diagnosed. He talked about using what you go through to be an inspiration to others. And so I was trying to take what I was going through to encourage my teammates. And my coaches gave him my number, and he called me and said that he thought I was going to get well, and told me to pray, God, if you're there, please give me a miracle. So that's what I was praying, because I didn't know if God really existed, and I knew I needed extra help besides the natural stuff that I was doing. So by the time I left Mexico, the lesion under my chin was gone. I couldn't feel it anymore. So I just continued Coley's toxins injections under the skin of my arms 3 times per week, and doing the Gerson therapy, 13 juices, mostly vegetarian diet, not like restrictive at all. I stayed the same weight the whole time. It was funny when I got back. I went to Mexico with my mom, and we walked in the door, and like the first thing that my dad said to me was, "Oh, I thought you were going to be skinny." I was like, "Oh, thanks, Dad." I couldn't have afforded to lose a couple pounds. But so I continued the diet, and it was, detox and Coley's. I had liver shots, which was basically B vitamin injections into the butt muscle. And
then you went back to your original oncologist, right?
Yeah.
And they redid everything?
Yeah, I had another scan, and he was very quiet when he came into the room to talk about the results. And he said, essentially, there was no cancer on the scan in my body, and just to keep doing what I was doing because it seemed to be working.
Wow. Oh my God,
Everything.
you must have been like thrilled.
I was, I was so, just so, like unbelievably relieved.
Yeah,
I had no idea that
imagine.
such a great like miracle
Right.
happened. I thought maybe some of the cancer had shrunk, some of it had grown.
But you had
Uh,
none. You
but
had none.
there was nothing. I was given a clean slate, and that was like redemption for everything that I had been through for like 2.5 years or so. And like thinking I was going to die, and then just being like, no, you have perfect health and you have the rest of your life.
I think one of the things that this brings to my mind is this is from things that you did. I mean, your mom, other people around you believed in you, gave you hope. You kept following and trusting your intuition. You made the changes that you needed to make. And basically, it was what you did that helped to heal yourself. Yes, you had resources out there of people who had these protocols to help you, but you were the one that did it. That that
Yeah,
that to me is such a powerful part of your story.
thanks. It's hard for me to um receive that. Maybe one day I will receive it better. But I just think of all the people who helped me. Um, I mean, none of it was even my idea. I would have, if it was just me on my own, I know I would have died. Like I would never have thought outside the box, never have thought to question what my world's best, they're top in the country, in the world. These research, like one of my oncologists was a melanoma expert and researcher, and even still, she's like publishing a new study like daily. It seems like I've followed her research, and yeah, I God is number one. I mean, for everything, the the air in my lungs, like the ability to move, like without him, I'd fall down dead. But um, his providing the people that I needed. Um, After I got back from Mexico, my mom was home for a week, and then she went back to work, and I was home alone during the day, and I was tired from the Coley's treatments.
Yep.
So I really needed help with the juicing and the cooking. So we had people from our town, like anywhere between 1 to 3 people come every weekday to help me with making juice and soup and my
Wow.
detox. Um, and then even when I got back to college, I still needed help so I could go to school and dive. I had another year that I was able to compete. I mean,
Wow, that's amazing.
I didn't compete nearly like I did before, but I was, it was like I was able to go, sorry, able to go back and
That-
graduate
That's
like a, normal, almost
right.
normal kid.
Yeah.
um, so the dining staff, they made my soup and my juice for me every
Wow.
day. I would just bring empty thermoses in exchange for full thermoses. They had a whole giant fridge in the back just for me.
Wow. That's
where
so
they would
nice.
keep my juices.
Probably had your name on it, right? Maybe shelf.
It could have. Yeah, I mean, and my friend, I had a couple friends in college give me my Coley's toxins injections.
Wow.
And it's like not even a legal treatment in the US. Like my one friend, she was an EMT. And I had a really bad reaction, my worst reaction, after she gave me the injection once. And so she got scared, reasonably so, and said she didn't feel comfortable doing it anymore. But then another teammate, a diver, my friend Chelsea, she gave me the shots after that. And that was very,
It was a team effort.
yeah, it was very courageous and selfless of them to do that. And my aunt juiced for me over the summer, and because I went and I did a summer class at at a different school in Boston, and she gave me my shots. My grandma gave me shots. My sister, I think, even gave me a shot once, and she hates needles. my dad just, he worked and was able to provide for us to do all these things and buy the food. And my grandma helped out with that. My brother, he was in college at the time, and he had to go through it like alone, like his sister. Just, I imagine that was hard, really hard on him too. Everyone.
Yeah.
So they just continued to provide all the love and support that I needed, and
that made
lots of prayers. So many people prayed. I even met and started going to a church that people prayed for me at that I didn't even know. And then like I got healed, and it came to that, have the faith that I have now, and got to meet them and say thank you, and very special.
You are an amazing survivor. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, Bailey, is I know that you refer to yourself and your business as SurThriving, and I've never heard that word before. I have an idea what that means, but I'm not really sure. So I was wondering, where is this something that you came up with, or is this a word that's out there in the cancer community, in the cancer survivorship community? And maybe you could explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I heard it first, I think, from a buddy who also had melanoma and did the Gerson therapy. He was on the American Ninja Warrior show too.
Oh.
Fun fact. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I've heard it besides there. I don't know where it originated. Maybe it's one of those things that multiple people come up with it, and it's not really.
And then
But
it thing. The word in the dictionary.
Yeah, it should be. But to me, it means that it's not like, if you're just barely surviving something, you're just kind of making it through, making it by. Which a lot of days I felt that way. But it, to me, means that you're thriving as a cancer survivor, because I think survivor is maybe not as descriptive as it could be, or the best description for being someone who has overcome the cancer and is living their life, and hopefully better than before, learning lessons from it, and hopefully, I don't know, there's a different purpose for everyone, but others can benefit from our stories and lessons that we learn. So
yeah. So it's more So rather than just surviving your cancer, you are now taking it to the next level where you're living your best life and you're living a vibrant life and thriving, having, living beyond cancer. That's what
Mhm.
am I getting that right?
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's such an interesting word. And I'm like, I have to ask Bailey, what does this mean? Because I'm not really sure. So in terms of the strategies, I know you talked about some of the strategies that you used with the chole injections that you had,
Mhm.
but in terms of maybe you could talk a little bit more about some of the juices that you would drink or maybe still drink, but things that you in your lifestyle, what do you have you found to be really important in terms of overcoming these challenges?
Mm,
For a lot of people with cancer would be very interested to hear.
yeah. Um, well, there's a
That maybe have cancer in the family and want to prevent cancer from happening to themselves.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think the most important thing is eating whole foods.
Mm,
You know, probably, I think most people who are healthier, uh if they're eating animal protein, it's in moderation. It's not every meal every day,
mhm,
that kind of thing. I mean, I have egg yolks and yogurt every day now,
mm,
on the phase of the diet, the Gerson therapy that I'm on. Um, and another, uh, this is something I also kind of question and wonder about is how much like sugary foods
mm.
are okay,
Yep.
because I'm tempted to say like avoid it all, like don't eat any. I mean, it's probably best not to have any like white sugar or refined flours,
Mhm,
um but rather like if you like maple syrup or honey or date syrup for
mhm.
a sweetener, or just like fruit, um and whole grains. I want to make like I think a rye sourdough bread. Because that is on the phase of the Gerson diet that I'm on. I just haven't there's a bakery around here that I have to stop at to get a starter for it.
Mhm,
Um but yeah, I mean juicing can help, whether you're, I don't know, trying to crowd out other foods, unhealthy foods, or replenish nutrients that, if you haven't been eating many fruits and vegetables, juicing is a great way to get in a lot of nutrients in a
mm.
quick way.
Yep.
Um,
They do have a lot of phytonutrients in them. And I'm glad you're talking about some of the fruits too, because I think some people have a thought that eliminating sugar means you've got to eliminate fruit.
oh,
And not, that does not seem to be the case. Fruits actually,
no.
like even an apple, I was shocked when I found out that one Granny Smith apple has 400 phytonutrients in it to help
Wow.
your body in terms of healing. And I'm like,
Wow.
400, that little
Wow. I
teeny
did not.
apple? Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Yeah, fruits. I mean, I don't know if you've ever soaked dates, but I've soaked them before to make them soft and put it into a smoothie, like I don't know, a smoothie or something.
Yep.
And when you like taste the liquid, it's like, whoa, it's like syrup. It
Yep.
literally. Um, so I mean, dried fruits are really sweet.
Mhm.
Even like when you like I've learned or realized more recently, when you restrict your intake or more restrict it more than um maybe you have in the recent past when you had too much food, um it just makes things taste like way better. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of like God made fruits a certain way because they're amazing.
Yeah.
He made it and it was good.
Yes.
And the way that society has manipulated food, and like fruits that are like genetically modified, or just not like if the soil's not rotated, or the crops aren't rotated in regular basis, and you add chemicals to it, it's like they don't look the same. They don't have the same vibrant color. They don't have the same sweetness. I mean, farming's hard. You can put all your effort into it, and as an organic farmer, and still get some bad crops. But the way things are in nature are generally really great. And they taste great. And not adding too much salt or salt at all. Like, I don't have any salt in my diet, and I love the way things taste. I love I still have, I'm doing like a maybe a more intense version of the Gerson diet, because I went off with the diet for a while. So I'm doing pretty strict diet right now. But I have Hippocrates soup for lunch and dinner every day. I have potatoes with lunch and dinner every day. I have cooked vegetables with lunch and dinner. Yeah, Hippocrates.
Like was it Egypt? Was he from Egypt, Hippocrates? Or Greece?
Oh, I don't.
In Greece. Yeah, but he was the
Maybe.
one that used to say, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food."
Yeah.
That is such a beautiful quote. I
Mhm.
saw that on your website, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
oh, perfect. Right?
Yep. Is
Yeah.
the father of medicine. Yeah. And I have 10 juices a day. I have a citrus juice. Oh, and oranges. Speaking of sweet fruit, oranges are so sweet.
Yeah.
I have an orange juice every day, and I have oatmeal with hazelnuts and a dried fruit.
Oh,
I
that
have
sounds
yogurt.
delicious.
Yeah, I have and spices, whatever spice I have. Like even today I had black pepper in my oatmeal, and I thought it was good. um Yogurt with honey at night, and cinnamon if I have it, or whatever spice. Even like, yeah, last night I had chili powder and cinnamon in my yogurt, and I thought that tasted
Wow.
good.
I've
So I'm
never.
learning, like, um, there are different, like different cultures have different like spices and types of things that they eat, and it's cool to just experiment and find some of those things that are not typical in America, but or in the US, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, so with the potatoes, like, I like to separate my potatoes from the rest of the veggies that I eat at lunch and dinner. I combine them. So it's baked potatoes with an egg yolk and olive oil. I have a couple tablespoons. Well, like right now I have 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil, and like 1 1/3 tablespoons of brewer's yeast, which has B vitamins and protein in it, other vitamins too, and spices, and I love it. It's my favorite part of, like, one of my favorite parts of the food that I eat every day.
Mm.
Um,
And I'm
so
guessing that the egg yolk is cooked, right? You cook the egg yolk?
yes, I do. I hard boil the eggs, but, well, not hard boil. I try to like soft boil them. I love when the egg yolk is gooey.
Yeah.
like like cooked on the outside, kind of like a truffle, like an egg truffle.
Mhm.
Hard on the outside and gooey on the inside.
Yep. Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So now you're making us all hungry. So I know that you have some fantastic recipes, but maybe you could share one recipe with everybody so that they have an idea of what they could create for themselves or even try with their kids.
Ooh, with kids. Oh, I don't. Well, kids, I'm not an expert on, at least not yet.
Yep. So just a favorite recipe that you would love to share.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kids love sweet things. Dried fruit is sweet, and I do add dried fruit to a salad that I have. Um, I like variety, and I so I don't, have the same exact thing all the time. But there's a phase of the diet that I'm on called the intervention diets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's comprised of raw food days and apple potato days. On raw food days, you have the juices, the regular Gerson juices, plus, but you don't have any cooked foods. You have like raw vegetables
Mm-hmm.
and fruits. And then on the apple potato days, you have apple juice, and then you can have apples and potatoes like in whatever form you want, just apples and potatoes for the potassium content.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And the
so
apples and potatoes are sitting in an apple juice. Is that what you do?
well, the apple juice is separate, so you just
Okay,
drink straight apple juice.
I see.
Although I've added parsley before. Parsley is allowed on those days, and I've added ginger too, just because I want to, and
Oh, that
I think
sounds good.
I've decided it's okay for me at least.
Uh,
um, and yeah, then like there's like a soup you can make with celery root for the morning with some parsley. So I have that. Also, you can have some citrus. So I'll have like an orange a day, or a grapefruit, or half a grapefruit.
mm,
Yeah, that's good.
mm,
Sometimes I make a mix between orange and grapefruit in the
mhm.
juice, which is yummy. Um,
Thought of that. That sounds good.
yeah.
Mm.
Um,
And do you put
and
those
then
through a juicer or you put them in a blender or how
the citrus,
do you take the orange and peel it and then put it in a blender or you put it through a juicer or
a
uh
juicer. Oh,
a ju-
actually, no. I don't juice the citrus those days. I just like peel them and eat them.
peel them and eat them? Okay.
But on other days when I do juice citrus, I I take some of the peel off, but I juice some of the peel.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, and I put it through the juicer.
Mm-hmm.
So on the raw food days with just the juices and raw fruits and vegetables, I'll make a salad, um, which I call them a modified Matthew salad, named after my boyfriend Matthew, who
Oh,
has been doing the Gerson therapy for like 6 years now,
wow.
and he's the one who um basically introduced me to the Gerson's intervention diets,
Oh, wow.
and these raw food days and apple potato days,
Mm-hmm.
which are either to help push a person past their plateau if they've reached a plateau in
Yep.
their cancer treatment, or prevent recurrence of the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to. So I think his original, like the original Matthew salad was like romaine and carrots, tomato, raisins, olive oil, and honey. Um, oh, mushrooms, I think.
Mushrooms.
I might mess it up, but um anyway, it was something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
when I make it, I don't make it, quite the same, but I'll just put any vegetable. Radishes are big. Gerson
Mm-hmm.
loved, he thought radishes were really important.
Yep.
Um, so I also add hazelnuts to it.
Mm.
So I
Sounds
have a few hazelnuts, a very small amount of honey, and a very small amount of olive oil. The raw food days are very low in fat, calories, and protein, fat, protein, calories. I'll add, any spice that I want. And maybe like a date. So dried fruit. I love things that are colorful. So I try to add a variety of color. Sometimes I might add purple cabbage or red cabbage, which is purple. And tomato. I love garlic, raw garlic, chopping that up and putting it on there. I love garlic.
Yep.
Yeah, all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's some oats actually. Raw oats on top.
Raw oats on top of the salad?
Mm-hmm.
And would it be like steel cut oats, uncooked or cooked or?
Raw, regular rolled oats.
Huh. Wow. Not cooked.
Yeah,
Not
not
cooked.
cooked. No,
Wow.
then it would be mushy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then I also sometimes will add raw apple cider vinegar
Mm-hmm.
and then mix it together. I could add sometimes I have onion, like red onion I love,
Mm-hmm.
or like white or yellow,
Yep. Yeah, this
mushroom.
must be a pretty colorful salad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at these ingredients going, wow, that's really amazing.
Oh, Matthew also adds banana to his.
Yeah.
So sometimes I've added banana. Yeah. Or
Wow.
I've added apple to it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a feast.
Yeah, it's filling. It's I don't know. I I've struggled with my stomach lying to me, like telling me I'm hungry when I don't need food and vice versa. So I don't um I just try to follow the recipes and like ignore whatever feelings I have besides that. I mean, sometimes I feel like okay, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I need to eat something. But I mean fasting it I think it helps bring clarity to the mind, for me anyway. If there's something or if there's something like, if I'm praying about something and I need God to help me figure it out.
Fast?
I'm sorry.
How often do you fast?
Well, it's more like the timing between eating or how long I wait to eat or drink a juice.
Mm-hmm. So how long do
Um,
you wait between eating?
well, I mean, so this morning I had a cancer coaching session with a woman at 9, and I was like, oh, I should probably eat so that, you know, I'll have lunch later. But then I figured, let me not eat and I'll pray like for God's wisdom for the coaching session. And then, I was glad I did. And then I ate breakfast around 10:15 or something. And I was fine.
Your
And then I had
fast
lunch.
was from like dinner the night before to your 10
Oh,
breakfast. Is that what your fast time was?
yeah. I had last night I was really full at dinner, so I waited to have my yogurt later when I had my last juices.
Yep.
Um, and I don't remember what time that was, but yeah, that was, you know, evening food till like 10 something in the morning.
Wow. Yeah. I know some people will do it that way too, is just have a longer stretch between dinner the night before and breakfast the next morning as the fasting time to break fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of hard sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to eat because I want to do something or figure something out. And I don't know, I need to focus all my energy on my brain. But then it's like, okay, if you don't eat, your body can't function. So you have to eat at some point, which
Yeah.
is so different. It's wild because it's so different from the way I lived for a long time, which was just like constantly thinking about food. And it was such a, it was a big struggle.
Yeah. So I know that you just mentioned that one of the things that you were doing this morning is coaching somebody. So, can you share about your business and what type of clients you have and what you offer in terms of your coaching?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I had stopped from November till like recently,
Mhm.
about 5 months
Yep.
or so, 5 or 6. Um, and just like I lost a lot of people. I was feeling discouraged and
Mhm.
um, didn't really, I didn't. I think I needed that break. Um, but I'm doing it again, and I have more information to share now with learning and applying the intervention diets. Um, and yeah, so I think probably one of the best things that a person can get from working with me is encouragement.
Mhm.
Um, talking to someone who's overcome a terminal diagnosis and sharing what I did and like the thought processes that I had going through that. Um, and I've seen so many people, uh, met people who have overcome cancer holistically or naturally since then. I've been, um, I have friends who are cancer coaches, survivors. I've been to a bunch of cancer conferences.
Mhm.
Um, and so, I have resources, like I have people I could refer my clients to, or ask them for their expertise or, a piece of advice from them. Um, Lots of books that people have written that there are a couple that I talked to you about that I recommend that people read or use as a resource because I think they have a lot of great information, like
Yep.
Kelly Turner's book, Radical Hope.
Yep.
She's researched over 1,500 like radical survivors, and most of them were cancer. But then she found that there are other diseases too that have healed, like incurable, like MS and ALS and Alzheimer's, like people recovering from those that the medical system has deemed hopeless. And there really is hope. Nothing is hopeless.
Yeah.
Um,
Because one of the things
so
I will say to our audience is Bailey is very humble, and she has been featured in Kelly Turner's book, Radical Remission. When there were the research that Kelly is doing, there were 9 factors that everybody that had this remarkable recovery had experienced to go from a severe health challenge to surviving and having no evidence of disease. And from there, now the newer book is Radical Hope. And Bailey is featured in that book also because now there are 10 factors that everybody has in common. And each person that's had this radical remission has used in their recovery. But then at one point, Kelly Turner had put together a documentary series that Bailey is also featured in. Just a really beautiful documentary. So I highly encourage you to especially get the book Radical Hope, because that includes all the 10 factors, and that you can easily get on Amazon, but also, look up the Radical Remission docu-series. I don't know if she calls it Radical Hope or Radical Remission, but it's
radical remission.
Radical Remission and
Mhm.
the docu-series, because it is you get to meet all of these people and they explain their stories, which are just so inspirational. But
Mhm.
Bailey is featured in all of those 2 books and the docu-series.
By the grace of God.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's definitely a reason why you're alive, Bailey, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. We are all blessed with your presence.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So now the coaching sessions that you do, are they like 50 minutes each, and they're like once a week for a month, or how do you actually have your coaching? How do you work with?
I've done various things. Like I've had a 6-month program or offered like 1 month of weekly coaching at a time.
Yeah.
Right now it's just, we can meet once and see if, if you want more coaching after that, we can meet weekly. I have a client that I'm meeting with monthly
Yep.
for her to help get herself back on track.
Yep.
So yeah, just, depends on the person and their needs and desires
Mhm.
and how well
There's a variety of
I can serve
options available.
for him. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Mhm.
And I do want to, because it looks like we're coming towards the end of our time, but before I share with them how they get in touch with you to,
Mhm.
show the slides, um, maybe, like a summary of your wisdom and your coaching that you offer for people.
So my elevator pitch, huh? Um, well, so I guess it's kind of like work like it depends on you, pray like it depends on God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's, sometimes, you know, it's like a combination of factors. Why did a person get cancer? Why did they get cancer? Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and like if it's a dire situation, like if you have like widespread cancer, then you gotta take big action fast and put all your effort and energy into it. Get all the people you can around you to help you.
Mm-hmm.
All the people helping in practical ways, and praying, and asking other people that they know if they can help. um and I knew for me, I was, time was not for me. It was seemed like it was against me at that point. So um we didn't really hold out anything, just what we could you know manage to do, and pray like crazy. I mean, I didn't pray that much, but I wasn't as big of a part of my life at that time. But um yeah, I mean, it's serious. Um it's not a cold. um but healing is possible. There are people who've healed that I thought were not going to. And um and I'm not the one with all the wisdom. um it's hard. I was in this place where I wanted somebody to tell me what I needed to do. And even the person who had the most information, who I put the most trust in, he said, I can't tell you what to do. I can't guarantee that this is going to work. So I had to make the decision myself what I was going to do. Um, of course, God is the one who has all the answers. And even sometimes he doesn't reveal like something to us that we want to know. But anyway, work really hard, pray really hard.
Ah, yeah, and it sounds like in the meantime, gather as many support systems around you as possible, because
Mhm.
it's really hard to do by yourself.
Yeah. And you know what I found kind of interesting? Like, there have been times I like motivation to live is really important.
Mhm.
Sometimes, I've thought like either you have it or you don't, but I don't know. I mean, there's a really beautiful verse in the Bible. It says, "A bruised reed he will not break, and a dimly burning wick he will not extinguish.
Mhm.
He will faithfully bring forth justice." And um, when my desire to live, even after cancer, has, I I just like lot, like I said, I can't believe that like even the things that I've held dearest to me are not enough to make me want to live right now. Um, God has like God showed me that he still had purpose for me, like in a miraculous way. And that to me meant like he loved me. He loved me enough to still use me at my lowest point in my life, up till that point.
Yeah.
Um and so like I said, okay, I don't, I free me from my self-induced misery, God. And I do want to live. So I kept going. So it's God is miraculous that even if we lose our will to live, he'll still, I think, encourage us and nudge us and help us to keep going.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing, at 20 years old, I don't know if I would have handled it as well as you did, because that's a lot to take in at 20 years old. You feel like most people feel invincible at 20 years old, and
Mm.
their life is just beginning. And so that's a lot to take in and a lot to deal with. Um, but as I said, we are all blessed that you are here and that
Thank you.
had what could be considered a miraculous healing and recovery to share your story and give us all inspiration and hope. You know, it's a beautiful story, Bailey. And I'm so glad you're here to share that story. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Early.
Yeah.
And um maybe part of the reason why I was able to get well is that I didn't see myself as having like um everything I needed to survive. It was like, okay, I need recognizing that I needed help.
Hmm.
Um and being, well, actually my mom was the one who asked for it a lot of the time for me. I was just like hanging out with my friends, just like that was the best that I could do at the time, was to just not think about it.
Yeah.
But
Well, thank God
yeah,
for moms.
yes. Thank God for my mom, Rebecca O'Brien.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I am very thankful for you and sharing your story and, you know, sharing your words of wisdom with everybody in our community, because this is really important. We all are going to face health challenges at some point, and to have some ideas of what we can do to help ourselves to heal and what are the resources to turn to. So I did want to share, Bailey had some, um, if I can find how to do this, Bailey had some resources. Oh, here we go. Bailey had some resources to share. If I can figure out how to do this now, let me see. Share the screen. Share the screen. Okay, here we go. Share. Yep. Okay, and so here we are at the end, and I'm showing you the slides now. Technically challenged.
that's
So
okay.
anyway, here we go. So this was actually our opening slide, and this is on Bailey's website. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And this is one of her. Is this the Hippocrates soup here in this bowl?
That is, yeah, I think it's a combination. It looks like cooked vegetables mixed with potatoes.
Yeah, yeah. It looks
It's not
fabulous.
quite the soup.
I love the colors. So
Yeah,
beautiful.
me too.
Yeah. And this is Bailey here with another one of her dishes that looks so delicious.
Yeah.
With
It didn't
all,
look that great after I cooked it though, honestly.
now, what are
I think
those
I cooked it a little
vegetables
too long.
that are purple with yellow in the middle? What kind of vegetable is that?
It's one of the rainbow carrots.
A rainbow carrot. Oh, it looks so good. I love,
Yeah. Yeah, I love those colors too.
yeah. And she gave you a recipe. And this is how to get in touch with her. So as she described, she does coaching primarily to help keep people healthy and well, but also how to prevent cancers first and foremost. Or do you still coach people who have cancer, Bailey?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And she is obviously an inspiration to many. And these are 4 of the books that she finds as wonderful resources. Chris Beat Cancer by Chris Wark. I'm sure that some of you know about Chris Wark. He has an amazing story also for healing. Did he have lymphoma, leukemia? I'm trying to remember.
He colon cancer.
Colon cancer, yeah. And
Yeah.
he beat his cancer. Then the book that we were talking about, Radical Hope, with the 10 healing factors in it that Bailey is featured in. And then another book that Bailey has used, Created to Heal Strong by Susie Griswold, founder of Healing Strong. This is also a really great book and a great resource for people. And then the diet that Bailey has followed that helped with her recovery, My Diet by Max Gerson, a guide for the sick and the healthy. So that
Yeah.
will also be a great resource. And I think that's
Well, that one. Oh, sorry.
is that
Um,
on Amazon?
it's listed on Amazon, but I just checked before we came on and it's currently not available. But there's a better one on the way to publishing soon, hopefully, that will actually have more information in it. It's by Max Gerson, translated by Gar Hildenbrand. It's I forget the actual title. Diet therapy of pulmonary tuberculosis.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Dr. Gerson treated tuberculosis before he treated cancer, but he used like the same diet essentially. So
Wow.
that's a resource that I refer to for myself.
Yep. Great.
And for others. Yep. Oh, and there was one more book I thought of too. It's called Curing Cancer with Immunotherapy by Renee and Edward Chi. Renee Chi had synovial sarcoma, and one of the reasons I am so inspired by her story is that she faced so many obstacles to her healing, but she just tried, one thing after another and tried, went back and retried the same thing, maybe in a different way, changed her diet slightly. And she's a long-term survivor. Last I heard, it was maybe even a year ago, she was still like, when someone had contact with her, Gar Hildenbrand had contact with her. I don't remember when she wrote the book, but she's a long-term survivor as well. And that's a tough cancer to deal with.
And what was the cancer?
Synovial, synovial.
Synovial
Sarcoma. Sarcoma.
Okay. And the book is called Curing Cancer Through Immunotherapy.
With immunotherapy.
With immunotherapy. Okay. And tell me her name again, the author.
Renee, Renee. Gchee, I think it is.
Gchee.
Chee.
Oh, Chee. Renee Chi. Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you for all those resources. That was wonderful.
My pleasure.
Yes. So we are very grateful for Bailey. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, Bailey. And
Thank you.
look forward to speaking to you again soon. Okay?
Look forward to it also. Thank you so much.
Yes.
God
And
bless everyone.
I just wanted to let everybody know that the last in our 4 series workshops is going to be on June 13th. It's a Thursday from 11 to 12:15 with Christine Zinke from the Healing Garden in Harvard, Mass. And she also has an amazing story to share with all of you. So I hope that you will be able to join us on that day. And for those of you who signed up for this but weren't able to show up today, I will send you a replay of this session so you can watch it at home. Okay? Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. There. All right.
Wonderful job, Orly, as
Woo-hoo!
always.
Yes, look at that. And I think we finished it right at like 1 hour and 15 minutes. So that was perfect.
Oh,
Yeah, because we started a little bit, I
great.
think we started at 2:36. So we're
Okay,
just like right on time. Perfect.
perfect.
So what I'm going to do when we get off is I'm going to save the recording, the Zoom recording, and I will send it to you so you'll have your own copy that you can save
Okay.
to your hard
Oh,
drive. Okay?
thank you.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you gonna post it on your website or YouTube or something?
Actually, posting it on YouTube sounds like a great idea, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
I didn't even think of that. Because I do have
Yeah.
a YouTube site, and that would be great to post. You could
Yeah.
post yours on your YouTube site if you have one, and I'll post it to my YouTube site as well as the other 3. I mean, I already have 2 recordings. Did you get the first and the second one? The
I don't
first one
remember.
was with Catherine Lawrence, and um, she does, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine in
Uh,
DC. She has worked with them. She's worked with T. Colin Campbell and went through
oh.
his program. And she also got her master's in nutrition from Stanford University. And
Mm.
she now does teaching kitchen, like a teaching kitchen. I'm trying to remember what she actually calls it. Let me see. I'll figure it out in a second here. Catherine Lawrence. But when she was 27 years old, her doctor told her that she needed a hysterectomy because she had such severe endometriosis. And after
Wow.
she went on a very strict vegetarian, vegan diet, by the time she got to surgery, the surgery was delayed because of the doctor's schedule. But by the time
Yeah.
she got to surgery, she went into the surgery thinking she was going to have the hysterectomy. And when the doctor saw her in the recovery room, very similar to your story, the doctor was really quiet and looked a little perplexed and said, I didn't need to do your hysterectomy. We didn't find the disease you had before. And she now has 3 beautiful boys.
Oh, oh
3
my gosh.
beautiful boys.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so I hope you listen to her story. It is an amazing story,
That's great.
you know,
Um,
grown, but
do I have to register? Do I have to?
I'll
Um,
send you the recording of her story.
that's
Um,
great because I have a friend. She's in a very similar situation, and she would be very encouraged by
oh
that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Catherine had severe endometriosis, a lot of pain. She and her husband were trying to get pregnant. She was just like,
Yeah.
it wasn't going anywhere. And her doctor said that, it was so severe, there was nothing that could be done. And she would be better
Wow.
hysterectomy. And now has 3 beautiful boys.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing,
Amazing.
amazing story.
Yeah.
So I will send you, and then the second was with Chris Osborne, who has had a traditional landscaping horticultural business, and then when his dogs died very young, because he bred these special dogs and they both died very young, he realized that that traditional 4-part system to help your grass to grow with all the pesticides probably killed his dog, so he
Oh my
immediately switched
gosh.
over to a natural and organic lawn care. And you'll hear his what he has to say, but he has an amazing story also. Luckily he has not had cancer, but I believe his wife died of cancer, and then he had a girlfriend, she died of breast cancer. So he knows how important it is to stay away from the pesticides on the lawn.
Wow. Yeah, I'd love to see both of those.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great
Well,
work.
all right.
Good.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Great job,
Thank
Bailey.
you. Thank you, Orly.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully you're feeling better now. Get up and live. Oh, I like your band. That's nice.
oh, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Living Hope Cancer. Oh, get up. I guess maybe
Oh, is
you
that
got a
your
new
own
website.
personal band that goes with your business? No, that's just something that you, no. Okay.
A
Yeah.
friend. He's got a cancer coaching nonprofit.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
And
I hope to see you soon. Feel like things are swirling around and maybe I'll start momentum again. I know I'd mentioned it like 2 months ago to you, but um, you know, maybe it'll come back
yeah.
soon, hopefully.
And
So it'll be
well,
great to
like
hang out with you and others.
yeah, like maybe a different time, maybe, put out to everybody, offer like 3 different days, 3 different times, and what might be better, or have people make a suggestion. Because I know
Yeah.
10:30 on a Friday isn't my best time.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but uh, I don't know if it like lunchtime, because I'm like, it seemed like a lot of the people that were initially on it, they were all like either pharmacists or researchers, or they were working at a big hospital site. I'm sure that is a really hard time. Like that's a busy time during the day,
Mm,
10:30 in the morning. I know when I
mhm,
was working acute care, it's like we were going crazy. It was so much to
mm,
do.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard because there's different time zones. Like some people are on
Oh,
the
that's
West
true.
Coast or
That's
Mountain
true.
Time.
Yep.
Um, but I'll put feelers out. So I'm gonna talk to somebody later tonight about it too.
Good. Good.
So yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Great. All right. Nice to see you. Have a
Great to
wonderful,
see you.
wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Nice long weekend.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Bye.
God bless.
God bless you too, Bailey.
Thank you.